But I just wanted to show you this. This is in The Guardian, right? JP Morgan CEO warns world could be facing most dangerous time in decades. Jamie Dimon says Israel-Gaza conflict may have far-reaching impacts on energy prices, food costs, and international trade. So this isn't, I'm not some huge Jamie Dimon fan, and I think, he's great and everything he says is wonderful. But I do pay attention when the CEO of a giant bank is like, oh, this could be dangerous. We are in dangerous times. I do pay attention to this. The most dangerous time the world has ever seen in decades as Israel prepares to launch an expected ground offensive in Gaza. Now, this story came out Friday, October 13th. So this is a week ago. Israel, to my knowledge, has not done the ground offensive like they said they were going to do. That hasn't happened yet. They still might, but so far it hasn't happened. The escalating conflict could have far-reaching impacts on energy prices, food costs, international trade, and diplomatic ties, he said, as JP Morgan Chase, America's largest bank, reported earnings for the last quarter. While the lender posted another robust set of results. Oh, good. They're making money. Oh, good. JP Morgan Chase is doing great. Dimon cautioned that interest rates may increase further in the United States as the savings of consumers dwindle. After the COVID stimulus checks and unemployment and everything, a lot of Americans got crushed during COVID, but a lot of Americans too also were able to save a lot of money. They cut expenses. People weren't going on vacations. Families with 2 cars got rid of one of their cars, and people were moving out of big expensive cities to less expensive parts of the country because they could work remotely. So there's a lot of people saving money. And then I said this, I did a story like a year or so ago about Americans had a lot in savings. And I'm like, oh, the banks are going to try to get after that. So they raise the interest rates and they make inflation big just because they're so greedy. They got to have everything. So now one of these greedy dudes is warning that this is going to happen. Dimon said, the war in Ukraine, compounded by last week's attacks on Israel, may have far-reaching impacts on energy and food markets, global trade, and geopolitical relationships. This may be the most dangerous time the world has seen in decades. While we hope for the best, we prepare the firm for a broad range of outcomes so we can consistently deliver for clients no matter the environment. In the memo, he told employees that the conflict in the Middle East would have ripple effects that extend far beyond the region. Global companies have scrambled in recent days to account for their staff and formulate public comments on developments. In a statement issued alongside the bank's earnings on Friday, Dimon said U.S. companies and consumers generally remain healthy, but noted that Americans have been spending down their cash buffers. As the Federal Reserve mulls the next steps of its campaign on price growth, he said, persistently tight labor markets, as well as extremely high government debt levels with the largest peacetime fiscal deficits ever, are increasing the risk that inflation remains elevated and that interest rates rise further from here. Oh, great. More interest rates, which means it's going to be more expensive to buy a house, to get a car, anything, a small business loan. That's what, when interest rates go up, there's less money that goes into the economy because people just don't have the money. Oh, you want to get you have some equity in your home. You want to get a line of credit to remodel your garage and turn it into a guest house or an Airbnb or something. There's no money to do that because the interest rates are too high. So they're going to keep pumping up the interest rates.